Hey y'all, this is Jason with Kindred Heritage, and this week I'm reworking a purse my wife has carried with her daily for the last year. Time to update a few elements that I've been thinking about since I first made this. I'll also add a few new features to make it even more functional. Let's get into it. I really like this purse, and I even made a pattern for it when I first designed it. I won't change anything about its size or shape, but I do want to add a few things based on the feedback that my wife has given me this last year. First, a D-ring to make it easier to find her keys. Second, a pocket to keep small odds and ends organized. And lastly, a way for this glasses case to be magnetized for quick changes. I've already built her a wallet that holds her cards and phone, which does fit nicely. If folks are interested in this, I can go into details in another video. Let me know below. I really like incorporating wood into my purse designs, and this one will be no different. I'll make this side panel out of wood, which will require me to bend it, something that I've never done before. I'll be using some of this beautiful cherry, and the body will be made from the same green chrome tanned leather, and of course, we'll line the whole thing in suede. I'll use the same magnetic closure on this version as the original. However, one of the button parts needs to be attached to the suede side of the back panel, so I'll cut that suede piece first. Generally, it's easier to cut the leather first, then glue it to the suede. However, since suede stretches more than leather, I can stretch it larger than the panel and cut both pieces to size simultaneously after it's glued. Even still, because suede is stretchy, it can be challenging to cut accurately. Take your time here. I've marked where I want this button to go by pressing the tabs into the suede, which gives me some marks on where to cut. And I like to hammer these tabs as flat as possible and then cover them with a small circle of suede to prevent them from poking through the leather. The front panel and the glasses case will have magnets embedded between the leather and suede, so the glasses case sticks to the front. I need to make sure that the magnets are in the same location on the glasses case as the front panel, so I've stuck the templates together to mark the holes. I've copied these holes onto the flesh side of the leather and will use them as a reference when gluing the panels to the suede. I've circled them so that way they're visible through the glue. For the pocket, I'll make it from some green suede to contrast and match at the same time. I'll simply stitch it to the front panel since it already has a stitch line at the top. I've landed on no zipper for this version, which should be easy enough to change if I decide to sell this purse as part of my collection. Since this purse is going to be 2 inches thick, I need to ensure that the side piece that I cut from suede will make the overall width 2 inches. I'll do this by measuring the thickness of the front and back panel combined and subtracting that from 2 inches. This is going to give me the width dimension of the side panel that I'll cut from suede. It's time to stitch this purse together. This will give me the actual dimensions that I need for the wooden side panel that I'll glue to the suede. In my alarm clock video, I learned the box stitch, and I'll be using it again in this project to attach the suede side panel to the front and back. Before assembling the purse, I need to burn in my logo since doing it afterwards would be challenging, and if I mess up now, it's not as much of a problem as if it's all assembled. Most of the purse is simple decorative saddle stitches, and a set of 4mm diamond chisels makes quick work of this operation. However, the sides of the glasses case is a baseball stitch that takes a little bit more time and concentration. I'll also crumble the panels to give the pull-up chrome tanned leather some extra personality. Now that the main body of the purse is assembled, I can start working on the wooden side panel. I began by making a few blanks in case I run into issues with bending. Wood bending is best suited to quarter sawn or rift sawn wood, which is more expensive than plain sawn wood since it is significantly more wasteful. I didn't have any, so I made some by selectively cutting some from larger plain sawn wood pieces. These strips here were cut on the table saw and they need to be cleaned up before I can glue them, so I'll just use a hand plane to joint the edges and some painter's tape magic to glue them together. Now that the glue is dry, I needed to clean the glue joint and face plane the strips, so I began by scraping them to make sure that I didn't clog my hand plane. You know, every once in a while the shop manager just needs to come out in here and wrestle with me. Alright, back to work. Here is my simple bending setup. I've got some PVC here that I'll fill with warm water and I'll allow the wood to soak in here for probably about an hour. Then I've built this simple jig out of a piece of 3-inch exhaust tubing. I've cut a hole in the back for the torch to rest against and heat the exterior. From what I can tell, 250 degrees Fahrenheit is about as hot as you need. Any hotter and you can start to burn the wood. I've also got this bending form that's the same shape as the front and back panel that I'll clamp to when I've got the pieces bent. I've made 4 copies of this same side panel for when I inevitably make a mistake. After the wood soaked for about an hour, I ran it across the pipe and steamed the corners where the purse bends. I worked slowly and in several steps, re-soaking the wood as needed. Once I could bend the wood fairly easily, I clamped the middle unbent portion into the clamping form and continued working the corners around the bend. Finally, after about 30 minutes of bending, I was able to get the piece into the form. Here's the final result, all clamped up. It's been sitting for a day or so now and it should be dry and ready to be taken out of the mold. Let's test fit it against one of these side panels here. Oh yeah, I think that's going to come out great. Got a couple of burn marks here, but that's okay. These should be sandable. I used a marking gauge to keep the thickness a uniform 2 inches across the entire length, and I colored in this line with a pencil to make it very visible. Then I used a block plane to bring it down to the right thickness. Now, here was the scary part for me, truly the point of no return. I started adding glue to the wood and pursed side using a mixture of glue brushes and Q-tips. When everything was tacky, I carefully started pressing them together. This took much longer than I had anticipated, but I made it through. The last few steps were to add the strap holders by drilling some holes and attaching the D-rings. Then making a strap, making sure to edge this clean and burnish with some toconol. Lastly, I made a custom nose bridge piece for the glasses case so it doesn't get crushed. Out with the old and in with the new. This is the final product, and I really love how it came out. I especially like the bent wood and really enjoyed the process and the challenge. It even fixed an issue that I saw of the side panels caving in. I think the magnets here are a really sleek addition, and the pocket should prove useful. I think the white suede adds a really nice touch. Overall, I think this is an improvement in my skills over the last year. Let me know what you think below. Anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time.